how can someone become a better Vaishnav?
Whatever is seva is when Thakurji graces you.
મને વૈષ્ણવ બનવું છે પણ મારાથી લાઈફસ્ટાઈલ છૂટતી નથી.
Being rigid in any circumstances is always a loss for the person. यावा अनर्थ उदपाने सर्वतः संप्लुतोदके तावान सर्वेषु वेदेषु ब्रह्मणस्य विजानता.
What are the common qualities that a Vaishnav should possess?
The only quality that a Vaishnav should have, that should be Bhagavad Seva Tatparta.
If we want the grace of Thakurji, how can one achieve it?
See, seva has nothing to do with laukik happiness or the happiness or worldly pleasures. Krishnam Mande Jagat Gurum.
Welcome to Episodes of Grace, podcast with Aditya Shastri and our mentor and founder, Goswami Śrī Anugrahkumarji Mahodayshree. Dhan pranam JJ.
Namaskar Shastri.
JJ, today's podcast is extremely relaxed. I'll tell you why. Because Shri has to guide youngsters like me, youngsters of Shri's age, and youngsters of our brothers and sisters' age as well, to become better Vaishnavas in Kali Yuga. So, the first and the foremost question that's going to be there, how can someone become a better Vaishnav in this current era?
Okay, so, if you want to become a perfect and a better Vaishnav, the only thing is you devote yourself to Thakurji. You start living life for Thakurji. At that moment, at that very moment, you will start becoming a better Vaishnav. You start following Sri Mahaprabhuji's teachings, Sri Goswamiji's teachings, the way they want you to live. Once you start all of these practices, you gradually start becoming a better Vaishnav.
On the contrary note, I'm not against what Akshay said, but now I'm talking on behalf of all the Vaishnavas who are stuck in Laukik. Common terms that we hear from Vaishnavas. મને વૈષ્ણવ બનવું છે પણ મારાથી લાઈફસ્ટાઈલ છૂટતી નથી. I want to become better, but I am still attached to onion and garlic. I want to be better, but I also want to live life on my terms. How do we tackle these problems?
Okay, so see, again, the onion garlic perspective is typically very much prohibited. We just neglect that. The rest of the two, I want to live life on my terms. Everyone has to live life on their terms. Just the thing is, you have to take out some time for Bhagavad Seva from that life. You know, no one will like when, just roam around free like a bird anytime, anywhere, anyhow. So just devoting a little bit of time to Thakurji's Seva and devoting your life to him, a little bit of your time to him, will gradually, start developing more love towards him in yourself, and then you can gradually increase the Sevakram.
Okay. Younger generation is continuously asking why. The why has been why factor of why apras, why I have to do Dandvat, why do I have to offer Tulsi, why do I have to bathe him every day. Some logical people even ask you questions like, Su Thakurji potan dhyan rakhta nathi avadtu. Yeah, you might have come across such Vaishnavas as well. So, despite being in an age to learn things, youngsters are behaving very rigid when it comes to dharma and seva. How would we guide them?
Okay, so being rigid in any circumstances is always a loss for the person. In case if you bend down and try to learn more, that will foster more knowledge, and you will yourself try to enhance yourself. Because see, knowing something about dharma, something that differentiates you from an animal. As the Shastra says, dharmopi eko adhiko vishesha dharme nahi na pashubhis samana. Because 4 things, that is hunger, sleep, fear, and reproduction. These 4 are the most common things that is between an animal and a human being. Just the thing that differs an animal with a human is dharma, or your own religion that you stick to. So, gaining more knowledge about it, what is my dharma, why should I do that, why should I follow all the practices that are given by our ancestors or acharyas, whoever. If you try to excavate that will be a better thing for you, and you will also gain more knowledge than possible.
Just because someone does seva And does it mean they'll only get happiness in life, or they might face laukik problems as well?
No, see, seva has nothing to do with laukik happiness or the happiness or worldly pleasures. If you perform seva, you're gonna go through all of the simple lifestyle, all of the life like others live life. You're undergoing the same cycle. Whatever is seva is when Thakurji graces you. You start performing seva, Thakurji starts noticing you, and then he graces on you. Then you start achieving all of the happiness. That is Anand.
Okay. And I'm assuming we are not talking about Anand like, oh, I secured first rank in school.
No, that is all of that is just Ganit Anand or Kshanik Anand. That is only for a second. After 5 days, you might forget the happiness that you've had. But the Anand that is with Thakurji or in front of Thakurji, that is always, that is eternal. It never stops. It is never ending. It is endless.
Okay. I think school and college education, or maybe early childhood education, tells us that Bhagavan is everything. Bhagavan is the father. Bhagavan is also the mother. Typical Maryada shlok. Tvameva mata pita tvameva. Now, here's where a logical argument of Vaishnav comes into the picture. If he's my father, he's my mother, why can't I ask things from him? Generally, as a child, it's father's or mother's responsibility to take care of. And there's a contrary narrative in Pushtimarg. Bhagavan paise mangu nahi. To kya jau?
Okay, so see, I'll just tell you one thing. As people say कि हमारा माता पिता से तो मांगी सु कम नहीं, तो प्रभु छे जगत ना पिता छे. He has to handle many things. So you asking something from he won't deny it, but it is a burden on him. So it is a child's responsibility or a son's responsibility to not make his father feel tensed or stressed or burdened, or not make him do work for him. It is a son's responsibility to work for his father, not a father's responsibility to work for his son. So, keeping that in mind, it is our responsibility कि प्रभु ने परिश्रम ना थाए, and always whatever we do is only for him.
Okay. And a lot of people keep on asking this, अगर हूँ भगवानની સેવા કરું તો મને શું મળે?
If you want something and you're serving Thakurji, then that is not a Pushtimarg concept, that is Maryada Marg concept.
Can we specifically say this in camera?
Why not? So, doing something and expecting something back is not a Pushtimarg concept. It is always a Maryada Marg concept. Whatever you do is always selfless. You serve Thakurji. It is with nishkam or selfless feeling that I don't want anything in return.
And how can one develop this selflessness?
Yeah, so the person you love, if you start developing love towards someone, and if you start developing selfless love, that whatever I am doing is not for me but for you. Gradually, if you follow Shri Mahaprabhuji's Agya, Shri Goswamiji's Agya, then you start, offering seva. Slowly and gradually, as you step up, you keep on stepping upstairs, then you can develop this selfless love towards Thakurji.
And how much does knowing more about Thakurji help in enhancing this love?
The more you know, the more you will start loving Thakurji.
And how can we know more about Thakurji?
Again, by Shri Mahaprabhuji's ways of teaching, once you know the teachings of Shri Mahaprabhuji, what he wants to say, how he's loved Thakurji, how Shri Goswamiji has loved Thakurji, is the way all the Gopijans have loved Thakurji. So knowing the way Shri Mahaprabhu and Goswamiji wants Thakurji to be loved is the way, or is the time you start developing more and more love towards Thakurji.
Okay. Generally, when we are very at a very childhood age, our mothers or fathers, I'm not sure about Apshri, but a lot of them, at least, and me at least, would have undergone through this bait concept. What is a bait? Tu aa karshe to tane aa apish. It's like a motivational factor. I think Jami leshe to chocolate apish. These are how our parents give us schemes. Yeah. Conditions. I would still use the word scheme over there. You put that in front of your child and they accomplish it and they achieve it. Do you think such a method is good for us to have in our Pushtimargiya life?
Okay, so when a child is small, when he does not understand anything, to develop interest, you can do such things. But once he is, understanding, he starts understanding everything, you have to give him proper knowledge of Pushtimarg. Why is it important to do seva and why are you doing seva? And because till that time, when he's small, with such things or such, as you said, schemes, he might get interested towards seva. Ki seva karis to mane amal se. And soon, gradually, once he starts understanding, he should be taught why is seva important and what is Pushtimarg.
Okay. How important is satsang, Jeda?
Oh, satsang is a very, deep topic that in today's generation, all of the Gen Zs, specifically college-going students and school-going students, they should be too much aware about. They should be too much be aware about it because, see, satsang itself is divided into two words. Satsang, a company of good people. So now, as the generation spoils, also the people are spoiling. So, preventing that, staying nearer to our Bhagwan or Thakurji, staying nearer to good people has become very difficult. So satsang does not mean only a company of good people. It also means a company of a good book, like Granth or something. Anything can be a way of satsang that gives you positiveness or that, helps you reach Thakurji on an early base. So satsang in today's life has become very important. If you're not having any of satsang, there's nothing that can stop you from falling.
And what are the precautions that Vaishnavas can take? Because we have heard of a concept called as Vanchaks who behave as Vaishnavas. And then there are these logical people who are not Vaishnavas but they keep on hampering our faith for Thakurji. How do we safeguard ourselves from them?
Okay, so first of all, neglecting them is the best option. If you find someone who is, trying to push you far away from Thakurji or the whole Sampradaya, anyway, let it be Vaishnavas, let it be someone who is trying to push you away from, let it be Vaishnavas, Acharyas, Thakurji, anyone. He is the one that should be stayed far from. Because he is the trap that is, calling you to fall in him. That
Right.
you come here and fall in this trap and I'll win.
Right.
In today's world, there are many people, who try to pull you off from Sampradaya and then you're just roaming around anywhere. That is again Pravaha from Pushti.
Right.
So that mindset should be prevented, and always if you stick to Thakurji, you have to stick to Thakurji. There's nothing that can, misguide you.
Right. If a Vaishnav wants to inculcate a Vaishnav lifestyle, how should they start their day?
Okay, so first of all, waking up early for Prabhu Seva and then, preparing all of the bhog and everything, and then going in Prabhu Seva and then offering all of the seva from Mangla, Shringar, Rajmoksha and everything that is, prescribed by our Purvacharya should be followed.
That's in terms of seva. But are there certain niyams? For example, they should do tilak, they should do chanamrut.
Yeah, so once they wake up, first of all, the first thing they do is Kantina Chanspash. You're fortunate enough that you've got these two kantis in your neck. Second thing is, one should always be with tilak while performing seva. Because tilak is the most mandatory thing. If you have tilak on your forehead, Prabhu will think that this is my jeevar. E marathi sanlagna che etle tilak karina avyo cha. The third thing is your attire. I tell all of you not to do seva with western clothes on because that is not the way you perform seva. Each and every places have their own uniforms. Just like you cannot go to a courtroom wearing shorts. You cannot go to college wearing shorts. Because there are certain types of rules that are to be followed in certain places. If you go to a marriage wearing shorts and a hoodie, that does not look good.
It's inappropriate, yeah.
So, in front of Thakurji, you should always be in a perfect attire, that is a Vrajvasi's attire. A bandi, a dhoti, and if you want an uparna, and tilak. These three things are must. Just like, Mumbai police, they have this badge over here, that this is my name. Or they have 3 stars over here, the Mumbai police. In the same way, this is our badge, who Vaishnav Chu. So this is your uniform or your identity that Thakurji wants to see, that this is my person, someone that belongs to me.
And what kind of part should a Vaishnav do to inculcate these bhav in themselves?
Okay, so there are various parts that should be recited. Like Shri Harirai ji, he states that one should do Spurat Krishna Primamrut, Vallabhacharya, all of these things. Sarvottam Stotra, all the Shodash Grantha, then Madhurashtak, all of these things should be followed. Not Madhurashtak. Madhurashtak is not for Vaishnavas. These three Mahaprabhuji Granths and Shodash Granthas should be in a daily life of Vaishnava, but these days I don't think so. Most of you might be knowing something beyond Yamnashtak, Siddhanta Rasa, Navratna and Krishnashray. Also Chatushloki.
I think Yamnashtakam is the only thing that people know. Most of them don't even know the other one.
Also, most of them might not know Yamnashtak.
Yeah.
So, I think you should start with Mangalacharan.
Sure.
And then gradually some of the Granths that can be recited.
Okay. And instead of scrolling on Instagram at night, what should the alternative be for Vaishnavas?
Okay, so there's no for scrolling on Instagram, but you can also, spend some time thinking about Thakurji and, preparing for the next day seva.
Should they read Choryasi Vaishnava?
Yeah, why not? See, there should be a niyam or a regularity on which all of the family members come together and read at least one prasang of Choryasi Vaishnavas every day.
Okay, so was this a practice back in the days?
Yeah, it was. See, and also, let me tell you, once you finish Choryasi Vaishnavas, you start understanding it, you should go further and not just stick to the same thing again and again.
Okay. And
you have different Granths, like you just pick up one shlok and read the whole Bhavarth on that day.
So they can read Shiksha Patra?
Yeah, they can read Shiksha Patra, they can read Shodash Granth, anything, that whatever you like. But something related to Thakurji, Shri Mahaprabhu or Shri Gosainji.
Perfect. And what are the common qualities that a Vaishnava should possess? Like, I'm certain we have heard in our Shikshavalli as well, Satyam Vada, Dharmam Chara, etc. What are the certain qualities that a Vaishnava should always possess?
See, let me tell you, the only quality that a Vaishnava should have, that should be Bhagavad Seva Tatparta. Always and each and every time he should be eager to do seva with his full heart, full love and all of the devotion. I'm not asking for a list of, qualities that one should have. The only thing that you should have is Prabhu Seva mein Tatparta. That whenever I get time, I'll do Prabhu Seva.
Sure. And in the current era where certain Vaishnavas are very great, like they're amazing in seva, but sometimes they're very inhuman. They lack humanity. On one side, we talk about Gosainji being so kind to give water to the deprived one. And on the other side, we see these Vaishnavas behave like this. Is this really right?
No. See, promoting someone to do seva is the first duty of a Pushtimarg Vaishnava. Unless and until, as you said, some people, they are very rigid and they do not, accept new people. So that is a very wrong mindset. That should not be the mindset in today's life, because we need more and more Brahma Sambandhi Vaishnavas should do seva, because that is the only reason they've taken Brahma Sambandh from an Acharya Bala. So, quitting these rigid methods, rigid behavior and accepting them into seva is the best thing one Vaishnava can ever do.
Okay. And in order to be more calm, not be more angry, control on their lust, what are the steps that a Vaishnava can slowly take to become better?
All of them, whatever you wish to do, should be connected with Thakurji. Once you start connecting it to Thakurji, as Shri Mahaprabhuji says, Graham sarvatmana tyajya tichit tyaktum na shakyate krishnarte tat prayunjite krishno naratasya mochakah. That once you start connecting your whole world to Thakurji, then you start developing stoppage towards all of the worldly pleasures, because you stop liking them, because you like something better than this worldly pleasures. So there's a saying that once you start liking bigger things, all of these small things don't
matter anymore. Correct.
Yeah, so in Gita also we get this shlok. Yava anartha udapane sarvata sampradodake tavan sarveshu vedeshu brahmanasya vijanata. In second adhyaya itself, the very famous shlok karmanyavadhikaraste, the shlok before that udapane, like something that is filled with water and something that is not filled with water. Once you start grabbing the things that from the pond, you'll not like the small katori that is filled with water. Understand? Because there's a huge thing in front of you. So once you start liking Thakurji, you'll not like the whole worldly pleasures.
Right. And we have the grace of Karuna Sagar.
Exactly. Shri Goswami
Correct.
also Shri Haridai ji.
Right. So if we have Karuna Sagar, we will definitely not like some minute bowls of something else
Why not?
altogether.
Of course.
And last but not the least, if we want the grace of Thakurji, how can one achieve it?
Okay, so receiving the grace of Thakur is only possible by Shri Mahaprabhuji's Kripa. Once you start reading his granths, all of his, and you start developing devotion towards Shri Mahaprabhuji, and he graces upon you, that is the only way you can attain Thakurji's grace. And once you start attaining Thakurji's grace, because see, Thakurji is, his nature is such. In Subodhini we get it. Bhaktam drashtva bhagavad anugrasya taranga udgachanti. The moment Thakurji finds out that there is one of my devotee over here, his heart is filled with grace that I want to shower all of my grace upon him. Because it's Thakurji's nature to do kripa on all of his devotees, all of his Jeevs, Vaishnavas. So once you start attaining grace of Shri Thakurji, then there's not an end to it.
Fantastic. And would Apshri convey a one-liner for the young generation Vaishnavas to remember?
Okay, so I just like to tell all of you that there will be many barriers in colleges, in schools and everything. There will be many things that stop you from reaching Thakurji. Or, even stop you from living a normal human life. They, try to, they grab on your legs and try to put you from here to here. Even in normal daily life. So, stay away from these people and get connected to Shri Thakurji as soon as possible.
So, Vaishnavas, in the 21st century, if you want to live life which allows you to be more connected to Thakurji, more connected to the divine, the ultimate reality, all you have to do is remember one thing: Bharoso drada ena charanana kero. We just have to take the grace, we just have to accept the grace of the lotus feet of Shri Mahaprabhu Shri Vallabhacharya. And I'm certain that Pujya JJ's words are also going in the similar lines. So we'll thank Apshri for conveying these thoughts which are more acceptable and more implementable in this era where Vaishnavas can take certain steps, make everything revolving around Bhagavan Śrī Kṛṣṇa, live on the path of grace prescribed by Mahaprabhu Shri Vallabhacharya, and eventually achieve the grace that we all are longing for and designing for. Having said this, we conclude today's podcast. Krishna Arpanamastu.